Hey everybody, Steve here in Palm Springs, heading out to do some errands this morning. The first thing I need to do is stop by the post office and return my iPhone. I finally did it. I finally managed to destroy my iPhone that I've had for the last couple of years. 3 years, I think. It's iPhone 12 Max Pro. It was pretty expensive. I think I paid $1,500 or so. Maybe it was $2,000. I don't even remember now. I guess I should go back and look. It was the extra large size that they had back at the time. I don't even think they make them anymore that large. And actually, the next time I get a new phone, I'm going to get one of the smaller ones, just one of the normal size, the regular size Pro phones. The one I have now is just way too big. It's really hard to hold on to. And I think part of the reason it was so expensive was because I paid for the extra storage because I take so many videos. Videos take up a lot of room. So I got the maximum amount of storage, which I think was it 500 gigabytes? It was a lot. Whatever it is, it's a lot of storage. And even on my road trip back to the East Coast, where I took thousands and thousands and thousands of photos and videos on that 6-week trip, it only filled up my phone halfway. So that was a real surprise that I was able to store that many photos and videos on my phone. About a month or so ago, I think some of you will remember the video I did where I dropped my phone. And I didn't just drop it. I mean, I accidentally threw it up in the air and it came slamming down onto the concrete floor at Walmart. And I thought it was just going to shatter into pieces. And I lucked out and it didn't. I was very lucky. And it still worked after that. Nothing broke, nothing shattered. And that was the first time I'd ever dropped my phone. I mean, I've had an iPhone almost since I think they first came out. What was that, 2007? So, I mean, it's been probably 15, 20 years since I've had an iPhone and never dropped my phone ever until about a month or so ago, and then it happened again. I did it again. I mean, just the other day at the bicycle ride that I went on for charity, I didn't share it in that video, but I mean, I was kind of embarrassed. It was like one of the stupidest things I've ever done. I mean, I'm riding this bicycle. We were almost done and we were back to the finish line. And so I thought I would take out my iPhone, at least film as we were going across the finish line. Well, I was trying to hold onto the handlebars and I was trying to ride. I mean, it was really stupid. I don't know what I was thinking, but I pulled it out and it's so big and clunky. I mean, it's really hard to hold on to. And I don't know what happened, but it went flying once again. But this time, it came crashing down in the middle of the street. I'm glad it didn't get run over by a car. And this time, it did explode. It landed right on the camera lens and shattered the lens of the camera. And it was just broken. I mean, I totally broke the phone. So twice in about a month and a half, I violently slammed my phone to the ground, and the second time I wasn't as lucky. So Marcia asked me, she was there at the finish line, and I told her about it, and so she asked me if I had insurance. I said no, and I just wasn't thinking. I'd forgotten that I've been paying for insurance on this phone since I bought it. I think it was like $10, $15 a month. I normally never, ever buy insurance on any products because over the years I've just heard it's such a waste of time and I've never needed it for anything. But for some reason, I think because this phone was so expensive, I think it was close to $2,000. I thought, well, let me get it just in case. I mean, I think at the time when I first got it, it was just $10. I think recently it had gone up to $15 a month. So I remember that I did have it, and so Jim and we went online, and you have to fill out a form online. It's like a claim. And it was really fast, really easy, and I thought it was going to be a major hassle. I figured it would be very difficult, and I didn't really think they would give me a new phone. I was assuming that I'd probably have to mail in my old phone and wait a couple of months to get a replacement, which of course, I wouldn't be able to do that. I can't be without my phone for even a minute, let alone, a week or two or a month. But it turns out that you fill out the claim and they immediately, you say what kind of phone you have, and they immediately let you know if they have one or not to replace it with. And it took 5 minutes, not even that, to fill out the form. And they said, okay, we've got a replacement. Where do you want us to send it? And there was a deductible. There was a $99 deductible for my particular issue. I guess there's different deductibles for different issues and maybe different plans. But on the plan that I was on, I had to pay $100 in addition to the insurance that I had already paid. But it still came out, we figured it out, and it still was a big savings. If I had to go buy a new phone, which I would have had to since I had no lens to film, it would be at least $1,000, maybe $1,200 I know there are certain deals with Verizon. I'm on Verizon. There's certain deals where you can turn in your phone for a free phone, but I think it's just the basic model. And then if you want anything like the storage that I had and the larger size, the Pro version, I'm sure it would still be a few $100s more. So I definitely saved at least a few $100, maybe $1,000 by having the insurance. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I'm glad that I did, in this case, have the insurance. It's the one time that I actually bought insurance for a product, and I actually did need it. So I've totally learned my lesson. I will never film while I'm on a bicycle, while I'm moving, do anything like that. Of course, at Walmart, I was just standing there talking to Marcia, and I was talking with my hands like this, and I guess being old and getting more clumsy as I get older, or more uncoordinated, I guess, I hit the phone that was in my hand and went flying up in the air and landed on the ground. So I was just standing there. I wasn't even riding a bicycle. I was being really stupid. It was just dumb. And there's no excuse for me to be doing dumb things at my age. I should have learned by now. And I learned a very, very valuable lesson. So I guess it was worth the money and the time to do this. But I do have to return. So they sent me the new phone, and it arrived in just a couple of days. So I was really surprised about that. And I don't know if it's a brand new phone or if it's a refurbished phone, but they guarantee that it's good. And certainly better than the one I had with the broken lens that I couldn't use anymore. But they give you a prepaid envelope that you have to send back to the company, or they do charge you $150 if you don't return your old broken phone. So here's the prepackaged envelope that came with the phone, and I've got my old phone in here, and I'm just going to drop this off at the post office here. So I'm heading to the post office right now to drop that in the slot. I'm going to go inside and do it, and then there's a tracking number, so hopefully it'll get back okay and I won't owe that extra $150. So I thought I'd share this with you in case you were wondering if you should get insurance or not on your phone. And everyone's different, but at least for me, in my experience, I'm glad that I did get it. It's always easy. We all share bad news all the time, but whenever something goes right and something is easy and affordable and actually works, we forget to share that. So I thought I would just share the good news with everybody that the insurance really did work this time, and I'm really happy with the whole experience. So now the other day I was walking with my friend Sandra, walking around our neighborhood, and she was so upset. She was having a really bad morning. She had no phone, and she said it had just been stolen the day before. She was at Albertsons here in Palm Springs. She was shopping, she had her shopping cart, and she had her purse. She's about my age. I think people our age are a little bit maybe more trusting and maybe a little bit more oblivious to how awful people are these days, because we didn't grow up at a time when there were just so many criminals and so many scammers and so many people doing awful things like there are today. So we were lucky, to grow up in a time like that, but it makes us, some of us, not really prepared for living in the real world today. So she's at Albertsons, has her, the little shopping cart with a little part in the basket where you put your purse or whatever you would put there, I guess. So she had her purse there, and hanging out of her purse, I guess there was a pocket for her iPhone. So her iPhone's just stuck in the little pouch in her purse, in the basket. Well, someone comes up to her and says, "Oh, I'm trying to find something. Could you help me find this?" And she's very, very friendly, very nice, very social. She loves people, loves to talk to people. And so she started chatting with him, helping him find what he needed. Well, while she was doing that, his accomplice came up behind her and just reached over. They had obviously checked out ahead of time. They could see her phone hanging out of her purse. They didn't take her purse. They just took the phone. So it was really easy. Just take the phone, stick it in your pocket, and then he left and joined his friend. So she realized right away that her phone was missing, and she went to the manager of the store, and they did have cameras. They have cameras all over the store, and they were able to see the two guys and what they did and how they did it. The problem is Albertsons, for whatever reason, I guess their film footage is really low resolution, and so they couldn't see the faces of the two guys who stole her phone. So there was nothing they could really do. I mean, everything was so blurry, I guess. And then I think just a couple of days later, I was on Nextdoor. Are any of you signed up to Nextdoor? It's an app where you can check out what's happening in your neighborhood. You can share good things, bad things. Of course, most people just share all the bad things that happen in the neighborhoods, the crime and stuff. And someone shared a story exactly like Sandra's story that happened, I think, the same week, maybe a couple days later. And they said that Albertsons was aware of the problem and they were doing whatever they could to solve the problem. Because apparently these two guys had stolen iPhones from other shoppers at the store as well. And so I'm guessing they're probably caught by now. And it's not it's not an Albertsons problem. I'm sure this could happen at any store in Palm Springs or anywhere in the country. So just a heads up, don't have your iPhone out in public. I mean, I have mine on my waist. I have a little carrier that just hooks onto my belt buckle, and that's probably not a good idea either. So I need to come up with some better way to hide my iPhone when I'm out in public. I do, especially when I'm usually filming when I'm out in public, so I've got it in my hand, so that's a good thing. But yeah, I do everything I can to make sure that my wallet and my phone and everything is protected, because there are pickpockets and just criminals everywhere these days, unfortunately. So just thought I would share that with you, give you the heads up. Oh, and then Marcia, my daughter Marcia, her mom, I guess, needed a new iPhone, so she had ordered it for her mom, and it arrived at, I don't know if it was UPS or FedEx or some delivery service, maybe it was the post office, I don't know, but she got a notice from the delivery service that the iPhone that she had ordered had arrived at their warehouse and someone at the warehouse had stolen it. So, so she had to order it again, and I don't know what happened with that. And guessing she probably got the iPhone by now. But it's kind of crazy how all these iPhone issues have popped up just in the last month or so. Where would we be without our iPhones? I mean, I can't even remember a time in my life where I didn't have an iPhone on me at all times. And I can't even imagine ever going out on a walk or going to the store, going anywhere without an iPhone. So yeah, we've really just come to rely on iPhones so much, probably more than any other device that I can think of. It's probably the most important device to me, and probably to most of you too, I would guess, if you go out of the house and do anything. So share your iPhone experiences with us if you want, if you have any helpful tips for people on not having your iPhone stolen or broken or damaged, or what you think about insurance, if you pay for insurance for your phone, and if it's been helpful to you too. So share with us, and it's always interesting to compare notes